Hello everybody and welcome to my video. Tonight I bowled in a 9-pin no-tap competition and it was an entry fee of $25 and I figured, well, why not? It's a once a week thing that I go bowling, actually twice a week but in the same night, and I spend about $30 a night, so what's 25, right? So it was a $25 entry fee. My friend invited me to go. I almost didn't go. I actually didn't sleep good last night because I have a possum that's made its way into my house and it's been moving around and keeping me awake. But anyway, so I entered the competition and it was $25 for the entry for singles and $10 for the entry for doubles, and then I spent $5 on tickets. And so entry into doubles was $10. I figured, hey, maybe it's not a big deal. My friend did invite me after all. So going into the competition, I saw a lot of the people around that I knew were very, very good bowlers. You might have seen these people around your bowling alley if you're an avid bowler. People with nicknames like Eagle Beak and Drac the Destroyer. Or at least those are the names that I give them. I don't know what other people call them, like Steve and Joe or something, but these guys, they're very good bowlers. So as I was bowling, I was just trying to keep my mental game strong. You know, when you go into a competition, you have to have your head strong and be very confident in what it is that you're doing. So for this particular competition, it was 9-pin no tap. So with 9-pin no tap, if you're not familiar, if you throw the first ball, you're aiming to get a strike, but if you don't get a strike, if you leave 9 pins, it still counts as a strike. And up on the screen you'll see it says NT, that stands for no tap. That means it's kind of a half strike, right? But in reality it still counts as a strike. It's not a big deal. So anyway, I kept striking consistently tonight. My first game was something like a 270 something. But remember, like I said, each 9 pin count counts as a strike. So 270 something, 260 something. And then the last game I had about a 240 something, 243. So anyway, I ended up getting 826 altogether with my handicap. My handicap was 45, so that means I probably had somewhere in the realm of 780. And then with my 45 pins, about 826, right? And the main thing was, when I was bowling, my friend, he started to ask me like, hey dude, what's wrong with you? Why do you look mad, you know? And I told him I'm not mad, you know, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to focus on the game. You see, you're going to see a bunch of stuff going on around you, the tickets and raffles. I was trying to have nothing of it, because the more stimuli that you have while you're trying to bowl a good game, the less likely it is that you're going to do good, in my opinion. Okay, now let's say you're studying for a test or something, right? You don't want to have music going, you don't want to have people in the house moving around, you don't want to have animals like this finch, my finch, making noise in the background, right? You want to have as least stimuli as possible. In fact, the way that we're able to harness our most intellect and strength of our mind is by having less stimulation, not more. So that's why you might notice when you drink a lot of caffeine, it might mess up your game. So when I bowl now, I avoid caffeine, and you might do well to do the same thing. Drinking a beer or two might not hurt you, but if you drink 3 or 4, it could definitely hurt your game. So, going through, like I said, I was looking to the left, I was looking to the right, and I was seeing guys striking, boom, 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 strikes left and right. I mean, these are balls that were just coming in like, you know, a strong right hook, like just blowing up the pins, right? And I don't know if you know anything about this with bowling. If you know, you know, when people tend to bowl erratically like that their ball, it just real hard and stuff, they're real strong hook. What happens sometimes is if they miss just a little bit to the left, assuming they're a right-handed bowler, they'll go through and they'll leave some nasty splits or take out some pins and leave some other ones that they have to take out later on. And you know, when you have pins like, you know, from your point of view, it would be like this one here, and then one still further back to your right. You know, you have to take that out. You might go through it and you might leave this corner pin, or you might just take out the front one and leave the 2 behind it. And you know, that's what happened with these guys. I was looking at their scores and they started off, some of them started off with 300, so obviously I was intimidated, like, oh crap, I'm 30 pins behind these guys already, so I need to catch up, I need to catch up, I need to catch up. But luckily, fate was on my side, and what happened was eventually these guys, they started off strong, but one of the things that hurt them was maybe they just failed to make their adjustments, or maybe they just, I don't know, choked or something bad happened. Sometimes stuff is out of your control, but luckily my friend, he ended up taking second place, and I ended up taking third place in singles. And with the doubles competition, me and him together, we put together in the doubles, me and him took first. So I was very surprised. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you is going into the game, what's your strategy going to be? When you go and you throw the first ball, or the second ball, or third ball in practice, see what your ball's doing. And one strategy, you know, it applies to all sports, is do you want to play conservative or do you want to play liberal or whatever? You know, I've heard people say one or the other, but or maybe just my dad says it. But anyway, do you want to be safe or do you want to go crazy all out like those guys? They were playing not very conservative. They were just kind of, you know, high reward, but also high failure sometimes too. So you can either score really awesome or it's not, you know, it's kind of like a Hail Mary, you know? And that's not the way that I was playing tonight. The way I was playing is very consistent and steady down the lane. I use this plastic ball by Storm, and this ball, it's a little more expensive than the other ones because it's got a clear coat, but I was just basically playing along the outside on the, you know, between the 7 to 10 board, just real close to the gutter, and it would just bounce off the gutter and go in. Now I did miss a few on the inside where there was more oil, and the pattern was more like a house shot than a sport shot. So the pattern was helping me out when I missed a little bit, but what I was doing was just hitting the one pin a little bit on the, I was just barely hitting the one pin on the edge, and it was slapping in all these pins around, you know, so that's a strike that I was going for because I knew if I left the 7 pin, it was gonna be okay. Now, I did leave 4 leaves that weren't a 9 or a 10 count, and let's see, one was a 2-4-7, so that looks like 1, 2, 3, and then a 7-9 split, which is really hard to get. 7-9 is almost impossible. It's almost like a 4-6. A 1-3, no, a 1-3-6. Yeah, and then 3-5-6-9, which is like a diamond, right? So I left the 7-9, and I went through the 1-3-6. I hit the 2 in the front, but I left the 1 in the corner over here. So I messed up on 2 of my spares, but I did pick up the other 2 spares, and that was enough for me to win 3rd place. And the other guy that took first, he is actually not as good a bowler as me in terms of handicap, right? Because we measure these things in terms of your average and handicap. But even though his average is not as high as mine was, I had like a 196 and his like a 170 or 180. See, so if you're not a very good bowler like him, I mean, I'm not saying he's not a good bowler. He's a great bowler. But what I'm saying is his book average from last year was like 170 to 180, 180 to 190, something like that. Probably more in the 170s. But because he kept it together and he was very consistent, and he actually ended with a 300 no tap. That means some of them weren't perfect strikes, but he ended with a 300, I think, or something like that. Because he did very good and he was very consistent, he won the competition and he took home $300. So if you're consistent, you keep your head on straight and you ignore what other people are doing and you play it safe, you know, like I said, just aim to leave either no pins or 1 pin. Whatever you have to do in your game, try and aim to do whatever you think it takes to leave just 1 or 0 pins when you're done throwing the ball. Whether that be playing safe or playing with a ball that's crazy that goes all over the place, it's up to you, but determine your strategy going in. And the other thing too that I wanted to say is ignore what other people tell you when you go up there. I went up to bowl and a few times and this guy was rushing me. Hey, you need to go. Hey, you need to go. Oh, you don't have time to go to the bathroom. You need to go. And I just ignored him. Hey, whatever. You want to rush? I told him, you want to rush? You rush. You go up there. You didn't take anything home. You know why? because part of this game is being able to ignore other people and shut out other stimuli that, you know, are distracting you, right? So I'm not saying, you know, that I could take all day or whatever, that it's my right to. No, I was going, but I had to go at my pace because it's important to keep your focus, right? So just ignore anybody else that's talking crap. There's some people that are going to talk crap. Ignore that. If you have to, wear headphones. That might help you shut out the distractions. And even if there's no music playing, right? If people see headphones on, they're less likely to talk to you. They're more likely to leave you alone. So, what was another thing I was going to say? Check the approach. When you go up to the approach, make sure that you're sliding really good on the approach. If not, some bowling shoes have things that stick to the bottom of them that have a really, you know, high friction coefficient with the wood. That means that they will not slide very well. And then there's some other, you know, ones that stick to the bottom of your shoes, some pads that are very slick. So I think that you should look into maybe getting some bowling shoes like that. But these bowling shoes tend to be $170 to $200, the ones that you can exchange the shoe pads on. So that was my Black Widow Assassin. That's the one I was shooting my spares with. This is an older ball, but anyway, I just wanted to show you that one, my spare ball that I was using. I know I'm a little bit backwards. This is my strike ball. But anyway, I think that covers everything. So enter competition, and you might actually be surprised to see that you can do pretty good. So just keep your head on, ignore what people say, be focused, and practice is the most important thing. So thank you for watching my video. If you liked it and it's helpful to you, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll try and make another video soon. Have a great day.